Welcome home. There is in this place the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us, and with the wider world. We gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Amen, and may it be so. Our prelude this morning is called A Better Place. And we're talking about Wedgewood and how Wedgewood needs each and every one of us to be focused on Wedgewood and to work and to help and to volunteer and just to be here. And I think this song really describes Wedgewood. We are trying to make our communities, our homes, our country, and the world a better place. But we can only do it together.
Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place. Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Live together, love forever. It's the only thing we can do. I'll be saying we're gonna make it through. Oh, yes.
Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Afrikan, Amerikan, de man är på Don Ben. Asian, Européen, de man är på Don Ben. Salut, salam, shalom, salut, salam, shalom. Noir ou blanc, rouge ou jaune. Nie pe bokriem, nie pe bokriem, nie pe yale, nie bon. Nie pe bokriem, nie pe bokriem, nie pe yale, nie sac. Nie pe bokriem, nie pe bokriem, nie pe toma de ma.
Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you hear it through the music, we can make this world a better place. Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place. Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you hear it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Yes, we can. If we all work and come together and each do our share. And now we have a few announcements. Next Sunday, I will be speaking, and the topic is the holy man. And it's a parable of sorts that leaves a lot of question and a lot of open, unanswered questions that we can discuss. So I'll just leave it at that, the holy man. As we've said, the focus of Wedgewood is social justice. It's the view that everyone deserves equal rights, opportunities, treatment, regardless of race, economic status, sexuality, or gender identity. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, or where you've been. You deserve equal rights, opportunities, and treatment. And that is our focus for our homes, our families, our communities, our state, our nation, and our world. Social Justice Book Club's getting ready to start up, and we have an interesting book that we are going to read. It's fairly new. It is a twist on the Huck Finn series in that it is the perspective of Jim the slave. He tells the story from his point of view. So this will be an interesting study. We hope you'll join us. We are just starting up for the fall this coming Thursday at 7 o'clock. The link is in your newsletter, or feel free to contact me or look on Facebook. It's there. We'd love to have you join. It's open to members and non-members of Wedgewood, so feel free to invite friends to also join. We have some really good discussions. And Unite for Our Rights, we are participating in, and we are going to lunch after the event at 7th Street Tavern, I believe it's called, Restaurant and Tavern. It's right across the street from the park. You must RSVP for lunch. They were very specific on that because it is across the street from the park. They're going to be busy, so we don't want to sign up for more seats than we need or leave anybody out. So the RSVP is again in your newsletter and on our Facebook page. Connie, would you like to say anything about this?
Other than we welcome everyone to this march, and we will have 4 dynamic, phenomenal speakers. The rally's only going to be about 30 to 35 minutes long. And the reason is that we don't want to spend a lot of time listening, but this time you will hear from 4 phenomenal speakers. And we really encourage that you make your own signs, your own message, and get out there and let's hit the streets and do what? Get in some good trouble.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we love to do. Thank you. Community events coming up. I believe I emailed some folks about this. I tried to yesterday because I just found out that it was open to everybody this Wednesday. And this is being led by Jewish Voices for Peace. It is at the First United Methodist Church. If you've ever been there, it's so easy in and out of that church. They have their own parking area and an elevator, and it's just so easy to get in and out of there. And they are going to discuss the 8 myths about the state of Israel, things that we have all been led probably from childhood to believe. And they have some dynamic speakers too, Connie. They have a professor from Wake Forest, and they have John Cox, who is head of the Holocaust Center at UNC Charlotte. So some dynamic speakers on this topic. I hope that I can go, and I hope some folks will join us. Let me know. We'll meet up. But this will be a real learning experience, I think, for us. Then on Saturday, September the 21st, we've already mentioned the rally and the march, and we'll be meeting for lunch at the 7th Street Lounge, right across the street from the park. And then Sunday, October the 6th, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, there's a wonderful event again, some phenomenal speakers. Our friend Hadia, who has been a friend of Wedgewood for a long time, Burbank is going to be one of the speakers, and it is affirming the role of women in our diverse faith community. We all get confused on what is the role of women, what are the beliefs about women in the different faith groups that we have, and how do we deal with that when it's a different belief from what we believe. So I think that again, here some myths are going to be broken when we hear these folks talk. I think we're going to realize we've thought some things that perhaps aren't true about how women are looked at in different faiths. So this is another one that I do hope to attend. Contact me. It's going to be in the newsletter, but well, I believe it's an RSVP one as well, so it'll be in the newsletter. But that should be a good one. So some good community things with social justice coming up that we can listen and learn. And I love to learn, and I'm sure you do too. So hope you'll join some of these. Membership, we're stronger together, and that's what we're talking about this morning. Whether you live in Charlotte, even if you listen online every Sunday, even if you listen on Wednesday nights, because you can't listen any other time, join. We want your input, no matter where you live, no matter where you are. We want your voice as we make decisions for Wedgewood going forward. And the form is on our webpage. It's very easy to find. It's a simple form. You don't have to profess to any beliefs or any creeds. So just giving us your vital information and that you desire to be a part of Wedgewood. Connect with us. We are all over social media. And please, when you see things on our Facebook page, share it. Help spread it. You know how the algorithms work, and we have to have the likes, we have to have the thumbs up, and we need you to share on your page so that it will spread. But Ryan and Leah's work on keeping us out there every week. Feel free to contact us. Ryan is our technology coordinator here this morning. Liz and Ashanti are out of town. I'm the ministerial coordinator. Give us ideas. Give us positive input. Tell us you don't like something that we're doing. Tell us you'd rather us do this. Give us ideas. This is a lay-led church. That means you are one of the leaders. And we need you to give us input on what you want and don't want in our services. So we look forward to hearing from you. We want to know if there are concerns, if someone needs help, someone needs food, someone has a need or a concern. We want to be there to help with that too. So stay in touch with us. And we do need financial support with all of the social justice work that we do and plan to do. It is not free. Renting a theater for a Sunday afternoon is not free. Renting those films, not free. Doing laundry for people is not free. So we need your contributions and your donations, no matter how small. It all adds up when we work together. All right. Well, thank you very much. And now Laura will lead us in our extravagant welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
We are all welcome here. Welcome to a
Welcome
church
to
that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of Mother Earth. We are
We are all welcome here.
and having it welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy. We are
all welcome here.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn from and embody the way of servant leadership.
We are all welcome here.
We focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
We are all welcome here.
You are invited to share your passion, your inspiration, and your personal story as one of the ways to help heal the world. We are
We are
all
all
welcome
welcome
here.
here.
Thank you. We are all welcome here. And now we come to a time of celebrations and concerns. Let's remember Thomas, Ashanti, and Liz, who are all traveling today to various locations. And Ashanti, as she is with her friend who is grieving the loss, sudden loss of her husband. That's always a very, very difficult thing. So we lift her up, as well as safe travels for all three of these people. We have some celebrations this morning too. I'm celebrating that both of my grandchildren got back to school and doing great. And Maddie absolutely loves preschool. She's the first one up in the house. She doesn't have to be there when they open because her mom is a stay-at-home mom right now. But she is up and she is ready to go, and she is the first one at daycare because she's ready to go. She wants to get there. So she's having a ball at daycare. And James is off to a great start in he goes to an all boys program. He's been there now this 3 or 4 years, and it's a wonderful program for young men, and it is a public school, and he loves it. So he's off to a good start. And Connie Green's granddaughter's off to a great start. She just tells Connie to stop worrying about me.
She's at Columbia University in New York City for graduate school.
Yeah, and she says, Grandma, stop worrying about me. It's hard, isn't it? It's
Yes, it
hard
is.
to worry about our children and grandchildren. So we're thrilled about that. Laura, do you have a report this morning?
I have two. One, and they're both very good. My
Good.
daughter Violet, who has cystic fibrosis, also started preschool last week. She's going 3 days a week to an in-home preschool in their neighborhood, run by a lady that used to teach at the school where her mommy teaches. And so
Oh.
it's all very, very close. It's a very small thing, but Violet is very healthy. And thanks to the support network and prayer network of everyone that knows her, she is able to start intermingling with other kids and, getting used to other people's germs. So we're very, very happy about that. And
Yes.
she is delighted. Her favorite part of preschool is her new water bottle that if you just push the button, the thing pops up. So she was on FaceTime with me the other day going, watch grandma, watch grandma, watch grandma, watch. So that's all good sign. The second good news is that Jim's brother, Joaquin, who's a retired priest in Washington, D.C., has gone from literally death's door to a pretty substantial recovery, which
Wow.
shocked us all. So he is kind of up and about. We're not sure about the prognosis, but for right now, today, he's doing well. And we thank everyone's prayers and good thoughts and healthy vibes for all of that. So I appreciate you all so very much.
That's wonderful. Any other celebrations and concerns? I know we're all concerned about what happened in Georgia. I don't have any words for it. I don't even know what to say. The more I read about that situation, the more speechless I become. And I was on Facebook last night, and it was a string of chat, and there were a number of Canadian folks on there. And one of them said, what I want to know is what the hell is wrong with you people? And I thought, I wish I had an answer, because they are so strict on guns, as are the UK and Japan and others. I don't have an answer, and I don't have words. If anyone wants to speak to it, please do.
Well, when we have elected officials saying, get used to it, that's a sad state of affairs. No, we should not get used to kids not feeling safe when they go to school, that they might not come home alive. They should be going to school, concentrating on learning. And so we need to be as loud as we can about this issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. and pray for all of those families.
How do you get over something like that? I don't know.
I don't know either. Any other celebrations or concerns? And I would say we lift up the debate coming up this week.
And lift up Bobby Jean Parks, his family. She transitioned last Wednesday and had a phenomenal homegoing celebration yesterday of just music. So,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah.
Any others? And of course, the election.
Yes.
We've got a lot of work to do.
Boots on the ground.
All right, in the spirit of Wedgewood, let's have a moment of silence for prayer, meditation, just to focus and think about the things we've just talked about, the needs we've talked about, the celebrations we've talked about, or just think about ourselves and how we can be better humans in this world and on this planet. A few moments of silence. Amen. Our words of wisdom this morning come from Brian Solis, who is an author and a writer. And I think they're very poignant words to us today as we talk about community. Community is much more than belonging to a group. It's about doing something that makes your belonging matter. Let me say that again. Community is much more than belonging to a group. It's about doing something that makes your belonging matter. Your belonging needs to make a difference in that group. And with that, I'll turn it over to Connie, who's going to talk about Wedgewood Needs You.
Again, good morning to Wedgewood leaders, members, and guests. The topic, Wedgewood needs you. Well, I'm going to add something else. I think you need Wedgewood. And what I want to do before we start in this conversation is just to define, and it's interesting that Melville just talked about what community is and what it means in terms of belonging, and it means doing something that matters. So I want to start with first the definition of membership. Even though we probably all know what it means, but sometimes we need to talk about that word. And so I'll start with that. It is a formal affiliation dedicated of a person to a particular belief, religious congregation, or community. Now, I don't know that Melville knew that I was going to start with that definition,
No.
but isn't it amazing how things flow together for the greater good? And so I thank you for that message before, or the poem or whatever, before this conversation. So Wedgewood is a community of people that love everyone and accepts everyone where they are in their journey to a higher spirit. Now, we could say that about any church. They talk about love, but I honestly believe in my heart that Wedgewood is a different kind of, I want to say gathering. I want to say a faith gathering. I want to say a church. I want to just say it's just a group of people that just are about the work of doing the work of loving, or the work of just social justice in its full realm. Now, Wedgewood doesn't only, it's obvious we are not in a brick and mortar building. We're in a Zoom situation right now. But we don't honestly stay in that realm either. We do clothes closets. We do the laundry project. We have done, we have a community garden. We also partner with other churches, other synagogues, other religious groups or mosques and what have you in terms of fostering social justice. So we're just not in this cocoon of just saying it is our church and we're going to do X, Y, Z. We are led, as Melba has said, and what have you, and we understand it, that we are led, a lay leader, a lay leader church. And what does that mean? That means that we have someone that leads us, but we also are inclusive in including our ideals, accepting our ideals, having a conversation. We just don't really have someone standing in front of us dictating what they believe or what they have read, and we're supposed to be great listeners. That is not what Wedgewood is. And so I appreciate that. So as I said, I've said to everyone, no matter where I go, and I travel a lot, that Wedgewood is probably the most diverse, inclusive, welcoming community that I have ever met. And I've been on this spiritual walk, journey, or what have you. I was raised in the most organized denomination, which is United Methodist Church, where they really lecture to you and you can't really have an opinion. I even stood up once when I was 13 and asked, I have an opinion. And my mother set me down and I was punished for about a month or whatever, but I still had to go to church and listen to this person dictate to, and I'm 13 years old and I had that concern. So I've been on this journey a long time. And so what I want to talk about is that what does membership mean in relationship to Wedgewood? And here's what I've found in my thought. Networking opportunities. Well, it's such a diverse group that you can network across a lot of spectrums. So that's one. Exclusion access. We don't have that at Wedgewood. No one is excluded. We accept everyone. And then then I looked at this. This is interesting. Discounted offers. Now that's a good one because I have to laugh about that. We don't have anything for a discount, but we do offer love to everyone, and it's sincere. So we have educational resources. We have a book club, and it focuses on social justice. And then afterward, we try to go beyond, again, a discussion and do the work of what we're supposed to do as human beings to human beings. And then the fifth, mentorship programs. Again, there are so many people with various interests and backgrounds that are members of this gathering or this church, that there is a mentoringship that could go on. And then the last one, advocacy and support. We are a church/gathering of people that will and presently in the forefront of partnership with other churches, temples, mosques, and etc. We support the Ukrainian people, Palestinians, any people that are being victimized by ruthless leaders in the United States are dictators and what have you. So we do really act out what we say we are. I always like, show me your works always tells us what we really are about. And I think Wedgewood does that. So we have had, I forgot to mention in my overzealous of trying to get through this, that, I mean, Melba even mentioned that we had a film festival. And we talked about what? We talked about the Middle East situation being narrated by upfront, very, very folk that have lived the life and have experienced it in real time. So it is not, it's not false information. And then, and so we also encourage donations to the Ukrainian people as a church or as a gathering. So also community, and it's amazing that we keep going back to community in this conversation. Community and belonging. Well, we have a food closet, and that's community. We have had a film festival. We have a community garden. And that laundry project was just phenomenal. And so we do participate. And again, we get out of the mortar and brick mortar or building. And it's and right now we don't have that. We are doing it on Zoom. But besides that, we get away from the Zoom and do the work that is needed in the community. How will I know that this membership is right for me? Now, we have to look, you have to do the research. What does and what is Wedgewood doing? And so what I found, it answered all of my needs at this journey in my life. And when I go out as an ambassador, I think all of us ought to be ambassadors, regardless where we are, even in the line in the grocery store. I have a conversation. I remember when I first moved to North Carolina, the first question that they asked me, what church do you belong to? And so I said, I don't belong to the church. And they would look at me real strange. And they said, why? I said, because I haven't found a church that addresses what I think the Almighty wants us to be about. So that's why I visit a lot of churches. So that's what I think that we ought to do in terms of looking at the mission, the goals, and the core values. And we have worked on that tirelessly, trying to change and have conversation with our membership around our core values. So it isn't just a denomination that's saying from a higher order, this is how you ought to do X, Y, Z. It is a people discussion, a member discussion. And we don't always have to agree, but there's always something in this sphere of being part of Wedgewood that we can pull and say, this is where I ought to be. So in terms of research and goals, as I said, we're not always going to agree. And then seek out recommendations. What does that mean? You talk to other people. In fact, I'm surprised I only have 5 people, because I've talked to at least 50 some people that said they were going to come and check us out, because they've been looking for the same thing. And so I know today is a busy time for a lot of you'd be surprised the activities are going on today. So I'm going to excuse them, but I'll get with them next week. Now I'm going to couch this into my story, why I'm here. I remember meeting Chris when I was president of the Democratic Women, and we were looking for a facility to have a meeting, our monthly meetings. And I visit Wedgewood, and I don't know what it is, but all the people on this Zoom, there was a calmness that I felt when I walked in that building, and a peaceful sense that And also I had a unique smell, and I'm real sensitive about stuff like that. But it didn't really interfere with that feeling of calmness I experienced. And so I said when I left, I need to go back and look at that church, go check it out. So I did. I went back several times and realized that this was where I wanted to be in my journey on this earth and trying to find my spiritual walk with different things. I've always been volunteering for everything under the sun, but I needed a connection, another greater connection, and I found it with Wedgewood. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into a biblical discussion about being a member of any group. There is a responsibility, and the responsibility, I'm going to take it first from a biblical standpoint. It's about tithing, offering, and your sweat equity. So I'll deal with the tithing. Now in Providence, they say, Providence chapter 27, verse 30, a tenth of the produce of land, whether grain or fruit. Now, that happened hundreds of years ago that was written, but a tenth is what we still kind of try to achieve. I know I try to work on that, and I'm not always good at doing it myself. And then your talents. What are your talents? Everybody has something to give to a membership. And sitting on our laurels, just watching everyone else do some of the work isn't good either. And then just making a commitment that I'm going to put giving to Wedgewood in my budget. It's as simple as that. Just make a budget. I make a budget. That's funny. I have to apologize to God Almighty. I have a budget that I live by because I'm retired. I have a budget that I even have for political donations. And I work at having a budget for Wedgewood. I succeed sometimes, and sometimes I don't. And so I'm remiss in that I need to strengthen my giving. And as Melville has said, we have to pay for all these services. Now, we have 4 part-time people doing probably 15 people's job, part-time. And that we pay them part-time salaries, and they're stretched beyond belief. And that's unacceptable. That should be unacceptable to any of the members. And that if the members are hearing me, we all have to step up and do what we know that we need to do in order to keep this phenomenal church, this gathering going. And it doesn't operate on air, just like our homes. It doesn't operate. We have to pay our light bills, we have to pay the mortgage, we have to pay all of the essentials, the furniture and what have you. So we have to put Wedgewood in our budget and live by it. And I'll tell you, once you start doing that, it works. Because I'm going to tell you, I'll step out from a personal standpoint and tell you a short story. When my 2 daughters were in college, I was divorced, and they were in a private colleges, girls' college, Bellman and Bennett. And they both were getting a partial scholarships. And I was given to my United Methodist Church in Wilmington, Delaware. But I wasn't given like I should have with the money that I was taking in, because my rationale was, well, I got to do this and I got to do that. And on a Thursday night, my daughter wanted to go to do some project, and it was going to cost like $5,000. And I just kind of sit in my bedroom on Thursday night, and I asked God, I wanted my daughter to do this, but I said, what should I do? And something really came to me and said, start giving your fair amount to the church. And I wrote a check that day when I should have been writing a check to Spelman. And everything turned around for me. I can't explain it. And both my daughters were at these private schools at the same time. Spelman is not cheap, and neither is Bennett, but they graduated without any debt whatsoever. And so I know it works when you honestly include in your budget a donation that you think is fair, which ought to be 1/10, can't be fruit or grain because we're past that. It has to be MONEY because that's what we deal with. We don't deal with Bitcoins or anything. We deal with money and also sweat equity. You know, I'm involved in a lot, and Connie Green Johnson needs to put a little more sweat equity into Wedgewood. I enjoyed that laundry project. I enjoyed the peanut butter and jelly, but I don't know project. I just enjoyed it. I even worked, I have a system now. I could do 5 loaves of bread in a matter of an hour because I worked on that. So it brought the best out of me in just doing that peanut butter and jelly. And so we have, again, Wedgewood doesn't just talk the walk, they do the walk. And if we are going to continue to do what we say we're going to do, we need our members involved. We need your tithing, and we need your offering, which is beyond the tithing. And so wherever you come from, I know we have a lot of members that are not Christian. They're agnostics. They come from all walks of life, which is fantastic because we're all God's children. And so we like that diversity. We like the fact that I say in pride that, oh, I just love the fact that we have all these different denominations and different groups of people, straight, gay, whatever. Because again, at this point in life, it ought to be about loving everyone. And so for me, that's what Wedgewood is. And so I want to just say that if you ponder over my babbling on about this and that, hold on to the fact that we're not here by accident. We chose to be part of Wedgewood. And that comes with a responsibility for all of us. So I'm going to now, just in 1 minute, and then I will close. I'm going to ask everyone on this, it's only 5 or 4, why are you here in 1 minute? Why are you here, Melba? Why are you here?
I am here because I tried a lot of churches, and I felt like I was just going in, sitting down, and watching a performance every Sunday. I never felt like I was needed there. And Chris Ayers came to me and said, Melba, Wedgewood needs you. We need you. If you want to be in a place where you can make a difference, come to Wedgewood. And like you, I had put it off. I had met Chris when Chris and I were both working at Hope Chapel at the homeless shelter together. And he'd been saying this for years, and I didn't listen. And then when I finally went, I felt like you. All of a sudden, when I walked in, I thought, this is home. This is where I'm supposed to be. And so I'm still here. I'm dedicated to Wedgewood. I don't care if we have 500 members. I don't care if we have 50. I don't care if we have the 5 of us. This is where I need to be on Sunday morning.
Thank you. Thomas, why are you here?
So I'm here because in my life, I have realized that the impact you can have on the world is very limited as an individual, that you need to be part of a community in order to accomplish anything. And Wedgewood is that community for me.
Laura?
Thanks, Connie. I was thinking about this. I'm here because I was reaching out, looking. I was searching for a place that embodied the spirituality and the social justice that I craved. And when I reached out, I found out that Wedgewood was reaching out for me. And so it was a beautiful connection. I recently went to another church with a friend. It was a big church in Charlotte. And although everybody was very kind and it was very nice, and I was, how shall I say this? It was not my cup of tea, all of the ostentatious presentation. I get as much out of the wonderful music Ashanti brings as I do anything else in the service, because it's meaningful, and I know that she chooses it with her heart, and it always goes along with what we learn here. But mostly for me, it is the actual smallness of Wedgewood. It's the still small voice. It's the quiet, continual support that I get from all of you that keeps me here.
Thank you. Ryan, who is my navigator of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Very similar to the others. It's the social justice. It's the going out into the community and taking action. It's the taking stance on issues that concern humans, concern the people, and doing things to then support that action. It's some places they'll make a statement and it'll be the end all be all. And Wedgewood will make a statement and then organize and do something and try to do something to make a difference on it.
So isn't that interesting how all of these terms have sort of come together today? Community, social justice, doing something. Someone said that in Chicago not long ago, do something. And so Wedgewood does something. We get in good trouble, not for us, not for fame and fortune, but for the greater good of the community. And so again, let's continue to support Wedgewood by our tithing, however you want to call it, our offering, our sweat equity. Those things have to happen in order for us to remain where moving forward in this crazy, crazy world. So I thank you that you've given me the opportunity to have this conversation about how I feel and what I need to do better myself as a member of Wedgewood. And it is simple. Filling out a form, my goodness. And you don't have to go through a whole lot of rigmarole, is awesome. So I just thank Wedgewood for allowing me to be in this space. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Connie. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this space on Sunday morning. It's my quiet in the storm. It's of the week. And I just love being here among all of you. And a funny thought came to me as you were talking. When my dad first started preaching, he went to Wingate and then he went to Wake Forest. And then when he first started preaching, he was preaching in Union County, and he was doing 2 or 3 churches. That's how they did back then. They traveled. And a lot of the churches did not have money to pay him, or they'd give him a very little bit. But instead they would bring him a pound of flour or some homemade jellies and all of those things. And, you can't pay your bills on that. It's nice, but you can't pay your bills on it. But I remember my mama said she always hated when he came home with those live chickens. listen, we don't want any white live chickens. We need your support. We need your time. We need you to give financially as you can to help us to help others. I loved that morning at the laundromat. I hope we can do that again because that just really touched my soul, the way those people were so appreciative. So, yeah, we don't need live chickens. We need you. So
Yes.
I always think about, and I can see my mama's face when he'd walk in with a live chicken under his arm. So now I also want to add one more thing. The leadership team is meeting this coming Tuesday. It's always open to members to come and listen. If you want to, I'll send you the Zoom link. I will be glad to have you. But also, if you have any suggestions for social justice activities you'd like us to get involved with, email me before Tuesday and we will definitely talk about it because that's one of the things we'll be looking at. So if you've got ideas or suggestions, let me know. And we'll now hear a few words of music from Ashanti. Beautiful, beautiful. And now Connie has our closing words.
May your heart be full of celebration and praise to the one whose mercies are all over you, whose hand upon you, whose favor is with you, and whose presence is with you. Amen, amen, ashe.
We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice. We take it outside of these walls to the world that we live in, and until we are together again, amen.